Got a little white girl dance going on here.
That's right.
Myself. Hello, everybody. It's CafeYPanDulce, and it is Wednesday, February 16th. We've already burned through over half of the month by the time you're seeing it. Again, it's CafeYPanDulce, and I'll introduce our producer and co-host, Chris Cano. Take it away.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to... Well, we may edit that out. We'll see if that stays in.
I've been wanting to do that for a while.
Gen-Xers are angry and hate America. We'll be talking about Gen-Xers, which is a perfect conversation because outside of, I think, Barbara, I'm not sure, but Momma Ruth, Jenny and I are all Gen-Xers. And so we, perfect for us to talk about this since it's about us. So there can't be any, if we're hating anybody, it's us. Well, I don't know if we're not hating, but Sean and all right. So
yeah, that's not a Texas thing, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's not a Texas accent. I'm gonna have to start saying ain't and fixing and
right.
those kind of things. So this week on Monday night, Trump's former accounting firm dropped him and has basically said, anything from the last 10 years, don't believe.
Ted Cruz, I think Lady Cruz is just trying to keep herself in the news cycle because they have the delusion they may be able to run for president in 2024. Yeah. What they don't realize is they're probably going to get the 14th Amendment slapped down on him. Let's see, the M&M. So Tucker Carlson got a little pissed off that the green M&M started being more gender non-conforming and went from a masculine look to a feminine look. What intersection you're talking about in the Gen X community? I think a lot of the right-wing, well-known Gen Xers that are in politics, which are a lot of the cray-cray governors, like Abbott, I believe, is a Gen Xer.
Yeah.
Palin, former governor. The ones that have been in the news a lot. Ted Cruz is a Gen Xer.
Kavanaugh.
I believe Marco Rubio is at the bottom of
he's at the bottom. Yeah.
He's either a very old millennial or a young, but I think he's actually a Gen Xer.
I think Ted Cruz is in there too. I completely agree with you, Jenny. The reason I was thinking about this topic was because we have this saying in my family with my brothers. I have two brothers. One of my brothers, he has this saying as growing up, "Why are you mad?" And anytime anybody would get mad, he would have this joke to come back and say, "Why are you mad? Like, why are you triggered?" Because, when people get triggered, you're like, "Why are you so mad?" I mean, why? And so are triggered easily, who are mad, who are angry all the time. And as you and I have talked about, it seems like today's Republican Party, they are mad at everything. I mean, I don't know anything that they like or they're happy about. And I think that's in itself a problem. Kind of GOP, QAnon kind of individuals are Gen Xers. And I was like, what is it that, and you mentioned something about this maybe a year ago or so. What is it that was part of our upbringing, the Generation X upbringing, that caused us to be born again Christians, like the movement after 9/11 happened? There was a huge, why Passions of Christ? I mean, the fact that a Mel Gibson Passions of Christ movie could actually make people go back to church. It's like, what is the psychological sociology? I don't know what the term is. There's something crazy about that. You could actually watch that and go, I'm going to go back to Jesus. I mean, that's called them the forgotten generation. And there's one of them, and they ask, why are Gen Xers consider themselves forgotten? And the main reason is because they're in between the baby boomers and the millennials. There's only 65.2 million of them, and compared to the vast amount that are on both ends. And also there's many other reasons. They were the first generation to grow up with their parents really being divorced. They were the first generation to grow up with being left by themselves to take care of themselves. They were the first generation to really not have a serious war that they were actually in. There was the 80s and the 90s. I mean, there was the Bush won war, I think, for a while, but that was not like the 20-year war that we just got. I don't remember us ever preparing for Gen Xers. We basically skipped them. We went from boomers to millennials. It was like, go ahead.
But do you think the angst, especially of white Gen Xers, and conservative Gen Xers, Do you think the angst came from we lived in a pretty peaceful bubble, or at least what we believed was a peaceful bubble?
Yep.
I'd say the last of the solid state generation,
yep.
Pre-internet generation, and we lived in this weird picket fence idealism, the American dream, and all that. But once we got into the real world, which should have been early 90s, late 80s, early 90s for most of us, I think we found out real fast there was nothing ideal about our country.
Yeah.
And it was almost like we just like put the
once 9/11 happened, everything. I remember things changing completely, and not just from our country, but even politically and everything. And then right after 9/11, Passions of Christ occurred. And this is where things changed in my family, which is why I was referred to. My family went to go see Passions of Christ. A large part of my family became born again Christian. After that movie, it was at the time I thought it was, oh, well, that's great. They're going back to church. But it was like, aren't you the same people that were smoking pot when you were
early 20s? I think that was a typical experience of many of us living in that Reagan, Bush, conservative ether, that our parents and grandparents were kind of still in that Americana generation. And then once we got out, and we also at the same time saw the race riots in LA, and the things with Rodney King and OJ, and we started seeing reality. I mean, the last of the desegregation lawsuits were being, finished in the 90s. We saw the inequities of treating HIV and AIDS patients. We saw a lot of cruelty emerge in the early 90s. And I think it just became more visible. Also up in the parallel with the early emergence of the internet. And I think all those worlds collided, and we got caught in the middle, literally, from old solid state baby boomers.
Yes.
And we started having kids, which are now, and the baby boomers had some of the older millennials. And I think those realities just start colliding, and we just got pulled apart.
Yeah.
We never came back together. And I think our generation is probably one of the most fractured.
Yes.
Because
I agree.
We had the furthest place to fall, and we had the most potential with the least amount of results. And I think
that's a good point.
Failed in many ways. We've never produced a Gen X president. We might not. I mean, Kamala,
I don't think we will.
Kamala is a Gen X.
In that case,
so she is our shot, and maybe our last shot, because I really think after Kamala, I think it'll be millennials. I think it'll be millennials. So I think for years we're gonna have millennial presidents. Like I think we're a shot. I think we see a real change in the guard, and I think that's why you're seeing conservatives so freaked out.
Yeah,
because these younger generations are so progressive.
Yep,
and they don't want the world to flame out. They don't want to see the human race in.
What I've noticed is, once again, like I said, this is not scientific, but what I've noticed, if you look at the people that are so angry on social media, at least on Facebook and some of the more political social media sites, Twitter, those kind of things. Instagram is different, TikTok, and all those are different. It's a different generation, right? And when you look at the people that are so angry, it seems to be more Generation X individuals. And first of all, no one likes to be around someone who's just angry all the time. And the Republican Party has become, it seems like, a bunch of drama queens who are just mad at everything. Very rarely do you hear a Republican candidate or even a Republican saying, I'm proud of America. We're doing a great job. We're, the stuff they used to always say that before, we're diversity, we're going in the right direction. We're doing this, or even talk about policy. Very, very rarely do you ever hear them. They always talk about something they hate, not something that
they don't have a platform.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
In 2020, they didn't even put forth a platform under Trump. They didn't even have a national platform for the first time in decades. This ship is like a ship without a rudder. City of Charlotte,
and they always
real fascinating.
Yeah, sure. They always say stuff like, if you pass this, we'll never spend our money in Charlotte. We're like, well, you don't anyway. So it's like, bye-bye. Or what is your term? Bye, Felicia. I don't know. I mean, I always have optimism that Americans will see through all the baloney, but that was before Trump was elected. How's that?
That's perfect.
Bye, y'all.
Thanks everybody for tuning in. We appreciate y'all watching every week, and we had a great time talking about Generation X and why they're so angry. And hopefully you can dodge all the QAnon Karens this week and have a safe week. Happy Valentine's.
Bye. How's that?
That was good.